Alan had always loved music. It was his escape from the monotony of office life, those endless hours of paperwork, and the empty small talk with co-workers he didn't really care to know. When his earbuds gave out, he immediately ordered a new pair on Temu. Nothing fancy, just something functional. Next day, a package arrived. He was surprised to find a sleek, unbranded set inside. There was no receipt, no note, just the earbuds and a small black case. He shrugged. Maybe they sent the wrong pair, but they looked high-end, so he wasn't about to complain. That evening, Alan paired them with his phone, queued up his favorite playlist, and let the music wash over him. At first, everything seemed normal. The bass thumped deep, the treble soared, and for the first time in a long while, the music felt alive in his ears. But then, during one of his favorite songs, the sound changed. Faintly, beneath the melody, Alan heard something like a voice. He paused the music, pulling one earbud out. Silence. He resumed the track. This time, the voice was unmistakable. A whisper, just beneath the music, like a breath over a crackling phone line. Alan. He yanked the earbuds out and stared at them in confusion. The room was deathly quiet. His heart raced, but after a few deep breaths, he laughed at himself. Maybe a glitch in the recording, or interference from something. He dismissed the odd moment and continued listening. But the whispers returned. Not every time, but often enough that it became impossible to ignore. The words were always faint, garbled, as though someone were trying to talk to him from a great distance, but he couldn't make out the full message. Days passed, and the whispers grew bolder. They interrupted his podcasts, his playlists, even when there was no music playing at all. One night, lying in bed, Alan had the earbuds in but no audio playing, just the ambient hum of white noise. He had just begun to drift off when he heard it again. Alan, you need to listen. He bolted upright, yanking the buds out so fast they nearly tore from the jack. His phone screen was dark. No music, no calls. The silence in the room felt oppressive, as though the air itself had thickened around him. Next day at work, Alan could barely focus. The whispers had kept him awake all night, each word gnawing at his nerves. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching him, following him. Desperate for sleep, he decided to test the earbuds again, just to see if the voice would come back. He put them in and played a random song. At first, nothing unusual. But then, after a few minutes, the whispers returned, louder this time, more insistent. You can't ignore us. Alan's breath hitched. His skin crawled as the voice seemed to surround him, pressing into his mind. He ripped the earbuds out, but the voice didn't stop. Listen to us. His phone screen flickered, the music cutting out. He dropped the earbuds in terror, but the voice continued, loud and clear, echoing in his head even though the buds were no longer in his ears. You stole us, Alan. You took us from the silence. He clutched his head, his heart pounding. He frantically unplugged the earbuds from his phone, throwing them across the room. But as they hit the floor, the voice didn't fade. Instead, it grew louder, more vicious. We are bound to you now, Alan screamed, running for the door, but the voice followed him, the sound pounding through his skull like a migraine, twisting his thoughts. Over the next few days, his world unraveled. The whispers no longer needed the earbuds. They were everywhere, inside his car, at the office, in the silence of his own home. When he tried to sleep, they were there. When he tried to escape, they grew louder. He visited doctors, pleading for help, but there was nothing wrong with his hearing. Psychiatrists suggested stress, insomnia, possible psychosis. But the voices never stopped. Then, one evening, As he sat alone in his dim apartment, the whispers turned dark. "Join us, Alan. Come back to the silence." The earbuds, which he had thrown into a drawer, vibrated, humming faintly, with static. Drawn to them, he picked them up. His hands trembled, but he couldn't resist the pull. He slid them back into his ears. The whispers erupted into a cacophony. Screams, wails, voices overlapping and writhing in his mind, dragging him deeper into the noise. His heart pounded, breath shallow, but beneath the chaos, one voice cut through the rest, clear and calm. "Now you belong to us." And then the music stopped. The whispers fell silent. Alan was found the next morning by a neighbor who had come to hand over a small parcel he'd taken in for Alan a couple of days before. "Hey Alan, I think your new earbuds are..." He was stopped in his tracks by the sight of Alan slumped on his couch, earbuds still in place, phone in his hand. The music was still cued, but there was no sound.